Welcome to the Asbestos Knowledge Empire.
What does asbestos management mean to you?
I used to really struggle with the asbestos management at my site, but now it's a breeze.
It used to be really expensive. I was paying loads, but now I've got my asbestos power team in place. It's so much easier.
Asbestos can be a pain in the arse if not handled right.
We had to stop the job because asbestos was discovered. Now we don't have that problem.
Asbestos management is easier than you think. Asbestos management. Be proactive, not reactive. Think about asbestos first, not last.
And now your hosts, best-selling authors and asbestos experts, Ian Stone and Neil Munro.
Welcome to the Asbestos Knowledge Empire. I'm Ian Stone.
I'm Neil Munro.
So today we're talking about Grade 1 and 2 listed buildings.
Yeah.
Thought we'd go old, really old.
Yeah. We're talking about buildings which were constructed centuries ago, really old. They've got real sort of historical importance and interest. Lots of areas covered by the grade listing. But these buildings would never been constructed with asbestos.
No, so if you think of a really old manor house, old...
Yeah. Castles.
Castle, like your house.
On the hill.
Yeah, so really old school, big properties. Although it doesn't have to be a big property, thinking about it. It could be old houses.
Yes, some are... smaller ones that there is, but they've still got that, grade listing.
Yeah.
They're really important historical buildings.
We're purposefully focusing on the old ones.
The old ones, yeah.
Because they were built and constructed prior to the main use of asbestos, before the Industrial Revolution, before we started using it.
Any construction.
Exactly that. So they were kind of, if you think about the building, the way they were built, it's all kind of thatch, stone, brick, lime mortar, those types of properties that are just really bloody old.
Yeah.
Oak beams throughout, that kind of stuff. And you look at it on the face of it and you go, well, it was built before asbestos was used. There's no asbestos here, surely. Yeah. But that's not the case, is it?
Yeah, no, definitely not. The first thing I think to be aware of when we're talking about these buildings is because of the grade listing, it's really important to get an understanding of what is actually listed within those properties.
Yeah, because all the listings mean different things.
Completely different.
Some are just the facades, some are everything inside, some are just individual rooms within a property.
Some builders are literally everything.
Yeah.
So, that's number one, to sort of get an idea of exactly what is of important historical interest. When we're talking about asbestos in these types of buildings, so we're not actually looking at the original construction.
No, that's what I was going to say. How is it in there? Where's it come from? Why is it in there?
Yeah, we're more looking at anything that's kind of been added to the building. Yeah. Now, that may be through various refurbishments, extensions, add-ons, upgrades within the building, such as... So we could be talking about electrics.
Yeah, electrics.
We'd definitely be interested in electrics because, probably when they're originally constructed, they wouldn't have had electric. So
no, that's a very good point.
That's a definite add-on. Yeah, so what sort of types of things are we going to be looking at? Wiring,
and also wiring.
Sheaths.
Could be the sheaths.
Fuse boxes.
And what Neil means by the sheath is the wiring itself used to be woven with asbestos around it itself, which, again, and that's a funny one with the electrics because if you think about it now, it might have had a few upgrades. Yes. And generally speaking, you'll have the wiring in there. Yeah. The wiring's out of date. Right, we need to get the place rewired. Well, the contractors generally don't remove all the wiring and then put new in. It's like they'll leave the old stuff in there, dismantle it or whatever so it can't be used anymore, and then they'll put new in.
That's a very good point, especially in these types of buildings because they want to keep disturbance to a minimum.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier just to cut the wires, literally, and then add new. So you could have, like you said, multiple centuries worth of wiring in there.
Yeah. Fuse boxes?
Yeah, biggies, definitely. When we're doing surveys, fuse boxes, which look old, we all tend to, with the competent engineer present, have a look and inspect those.
Yeah.
See if there is asbestos in there. And they could have fuse guards, flash suppressors.
Yeah.
Suppressors on the wires.
Yeah, paper,
the paper little cardboard tubes.
Yeah, little cardboard tubes on the back of them. What I mean by suppressors are, they were woven guards that were put on the back of the carriage where the fuse sits, or the back of the fuse itself. And it's the same with guards. They were kind of like cement or asbestos insulating board, like liners that sat in between.
Breakers, weren't they, kind of thing.
So any of those electrically could
even
be
like panels, just random panels in fuse boards, and in and below fuse boards as well. You can get asbestos, can't you? Like the brakes. I've seen cement panelling on top of fuse breakers and fuse boxes and stuff.
And even what the fuse boxes onto the wall, actually attached to the wall with.
Panel.
The backing panel.
Yeah, I've seen them as resin as well.
Yeah.
Cement, definitely. ALB, quite a good mixture on that one.
So other stuff, fire protection?
Yeah,
Like
that's
upgrades?
a big, other than the heating, probably fire protection is probably one of the most, because obviously, as you can appreciate, there's no fire protection thought of when they constructed these buildings.
No, definitely not. And to comply
Other
with
than don't build a thatched roof and next to each other. That was kind of fire protection, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it really. So yeah, upgrades over the years could be fire breaks being added into the loft.
Yeah, ALB fire breaks.
Yeah, I've seen them, like literally just board the entire loft out, like width-wise, and then put doors through the actual breaks itself so you can still access the loft area.
Yeah, fire breaks and risers.
Yeah, risers, yeah,
Again.
cladding out the risers and the bits between the floor and the ceiling. Again, like the real kind of fire points.
Yeah, and then just any sort of ceiling fire break.
Yeah.
Stuff like that where you've got a big room, you might have a fire break in the ceiling void.
Yeah, anything for like fire compartmentalisation needs.
Yeah, which fire doors.
Yeah, fire doors
Again,
is a big
replacement of the doors, and then sometimes if they're historical doors, you've seen ALB put on one side of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
or
so
sometimes two.
yeah.
So
The
they've kept
door's
the door,
okay. Yeah, exactly.
but they've overclad it with asbestos insulating board.
But that's the thing with like the gradings as well. It's like, yeah, we've got to keep the historical importance, but sometimes you can actually cover over it, but you've got to leave it as is.
Yeah.
So again, that's kind of how those elements have happened. You mentioned about heating systems.
Yes.
That is a biggie, definitely heating systems.
Yeah. Because again, no, heating would have just been fryers at one point. So then the heating upgrades when modern boilers were created, they would have installed those.
Boilers, the pipe work, the
And
pipe
insulated
runs.
them, yeah.
Yeah, insulating where the pipes run.
Yeah, chlorifiers as well. So with that, the asbestos insulation on these would have been in plant rooms, boiler rooms, within that basement areas. And again, that leads to the historical problems with asbestos insulation is the residues, the debris in those areas.
And I've seen that time and again. That is quite a biggie in my eyes. Like I've seen heating systems where, again, it's the same as the electrics. They'll have a first kind of install and then technology moves on or whatever, like the wiring system needs to be upgraded. It gets upgraded. But then we're talking about, I don't know, first heating system went in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
The next one goes in the 70s, 80s. But they've just left the original one in there. And in like the crawl spaces underneath the properties, the asbestos degrades over time. Rats, mice get into it and
vermin.
start munching on it and all the rest of it.
That is more common than you'd like to admit.
Yeah, and then like you go into a void and it's all over the floor. It's fell off the pipes. And then you've got a huge problem because, well, you've got massive contaminated areas.
Yeah.
With just essentially pure asbestos sitting there in and around the area. So that is definitely a biggie that we've seen.
Yeah. So they're kind of the three main ones. And then it's just anything else, isn't it, over the years. So, big ones really. So flooring gets replaced quite a lot. So modern flooring, I say modern, replacement flooring in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Would contain asbestos. That's kind of quite common.
Refurbs or change of use of room or those reasons. Like we've seen before, like, I don't know, old kitchens or pantries that weren't used then get converted into the site office.
Yeah.
So, like you say, they re-floor it. But they just put the asbestos floor tiles down straight over the old original clay tiles and stuff. Yeah. Stone tiles.
Yeah. Extensions as well, sort of add-ons over the years.
Little horrible add-ons that
try to look, but they don't.
Yeah.
Try to look.
They never should have passed planning the original, but they did. And they were made out of asbestos.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of different things to sort of consider. So
what's the problem with that?
Yeah, the overriding theme is, the buildings weren't originally constructed with asbestos, but it's anything that's added into these buildings over the years.
And what's the issue with that from like surveying or working on them?
Point of view. So really, as sort of touched at the beginning, is it's having an understanding of the grading on the building, of each building. And that is specific to each area and location and building. So it is no one building's the same. So it's really important to sort of get that information. Really, it's having the experienced surveyor of these buildings as well, because they're not standard buildings. They're not constructed as modern buildings. They tend to have really high ceilings.
Yep.
They have confined spaces.
Yep, definitely.
Spaces that are really hard to get into.
Yeah.
They have hidden spaces.
Health and safety wasn't a thing when they were built. It was just built to look good and do what was fit for purpose then.
Yeah.
Didn't actually care about...
A few people died making it. Didn't matter.
Can you get in and out of there properly? Who cares?
Yes, lots of confined spaces, lots of, like you said, undercrofts, hidden areas, hidden voids.
Yeah.
Lots of them. The construction of these buildings, you always tend to get, that wall's twice the size of everything else. What's all that about?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Does it make sense?
We did a site visit recently where there was like the catacombs.
Yes.
And in the catacombs down in the basement, at the edge of the catacombs were kind of risers, but you wouldn't know they're risers because it's bricked up. But the only reason that we knew about it was because the client gave us the information, and to access into those risers off of the catacombs, you had to go up like 3 or 4 stories, climb through some little hatches, and then go down the ladder back again into that kind of riser area.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you would have ever known that they were there.
No, and that's a very good point, actually. When you are looking at these buildings, because of their significant interest in these buildings, there tends to be quite a lot of information about the construction and the management of the buildings over the years. Not always, but it's gathering that information and talking to the right people on site as well, who have got working knowledge of the building, is really important.
It is. And like you say, I think it's getting the right surveyor on board to do that survey. It's also getting the right consultant on board to drag that information out of the client.
Yeah.
To know, well, what to ask for, what they've seen in other properties that are similar and things like that. That's a massive one. It's one thing to go and do a survey of a property. It's another thing to do a really decent survey of a graded building. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. You know, when we're talking about some of these, you've got some really, really important cladding on walls, timber cladding.
Yeah, well, we know that
cornices.
story, don't we? There's a little story of a surveyor many years ago. He accessed a kind of an oak clad or a timber clad room, and
when you look at these, you just think, well, why would you ever touch these?
Well, exactly. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, out of the floor, I think that was the only area that was Grade 1 listed.
Yeah.
But
however,
the
compared to everything else,
yeah,
you could tell the difference.
You could, but I think the misunderstanding in his own mind of, oh no, this is the only area that I can access, and he went hell for leather on this, I don't know, it was cedar panelling or something. It was ridiculous. It was in London, Grade 1 listed. So yeah, that caused a bit of carnage, didn't it? Yeah. And I'm glad it wasn't me or one of us. So definitely need to get the point across of what is listed. And
yeah. So, you know, they have really lavish ceilings, don't they? Cornices, which again, it could be just one cornice in the corner that's listed in that room. And again, that's just mirroring the point of you need to know what you can and can't touch.
Yeah.
And you need to be aware, as the surveyor's going round, of what exactly can we look at, what can we stab to check.
What can be accessed.
Yeah.
And it's a funny one. It's like you kind of need to treat the listed stuff the same that we treat asbestos.
Yeah.
Of, right, give me your register, walk me round, show me exactly what I can and can't touch, because, all right, it's not going to kill me, but you're probably going to kill me if I damage it.
Yeah, particularly, you know, management, you need to be definitely on your toes, but when we're talking refurb, we definitely don't want to see the panelling ripped off when it shouldn't be.
No, exactly that. And I suppose that goes back to, like we said, another stuff, it's the specification of surveys and just the whole client onboarding of getting to know exactly what's what and where's where.
Yeah, and definitely when we've done refurbs in these types of buildings, it's sometimes we've had to use complementary trades, you know, actual trades people that can carefully remove and handle these materials of historical interest, so we can then look behind or get access to make sure we can identify if there's any asbestos there. So we have worked in conjunction with multiple trades to actually do these surveys.
We've done some on some windows recently where their listed carpenter, he came along and removed the panelling on these windows so we could access behind, and then he put it back afterwards because there was no way in hell that we were ever going to remove it as carefully as what he did.
Yeah, these are tradespeople who are, you know, master tradesmen and tradespeople that can, you know, remove these without, you know, you wouldn't even know that it's been removed.
It's a bit like the old Yellow Pages advert with the French polisher. It's that skill level.
It's that, yeah, definitely. Yes, it's just a few sort of bits in and around these sort of buildings, working in these buildings.
Yeah, just to highlight that, yes, all right, there's some buildings that are centuries old, but asbestos wasn't added in the construction, but it's been added in over time. Yeah. And again, it can be quite easily forgotten when you're, I don't know, worried about the historical importance more than what the asbestos is or what you're doing to that property for refurbishments or upgrades or whatever. But it's still something that really does need to be kind of borne in mind. Definitely. Hope you enjoyed that one. Remember, asbestos first, not last.